From Cold War allies to bitter adversaries, the story of the United States and Iran is one of mistrust, missed opportunities, and decades of simmering conflict. It's a complex relationship defined by covert operations, revolutionary fervor, and a nuclear standoff that continues to shape global politics. How did two nations once so close end up on a collision course? The roots of the modern conflict trace back to 1953. In the midst of the Cold War, Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister, Mohammad Mossadegh, moved to nationalize the country's oil industry, a move that threatened Western interests. Fearing he might align with the Soviet Union, the CIA, alongside British intelligence, orchestrated a coup. Codenamed Operation Ajax, the clandestine plot successfully overthrew Mossadegh and reinstated the pro-Western monarch, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. This intervention installed a reliable ally for Washington, but planted deep seeds of resentment among the Iranian people, who saw it as a violation of their sovereignty. For the next quarter century, the Shah ruled with an iron fist, backed by the United States. While he pushed for modernization and maintained close ties with Washington, his regime was also marked by opulent extravagance and brutal repression carried out by his secret police, the Savak. This stark contrast between the Shah's lavish lifestyle and the struggles of ordinary Iranians fueled widespread discontent. By the late 1970s, this anger erupted into a full-blown revolution. In 1979, the Shah was forced to flee, and the exiled Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini returned to establish the Islamic Republic. The revolution reached a dramatic climax in November of that year when militant students, enraged by the U.S. granting asylum to the deposed Shah, stormed the American embassy in Tehran. They took 52 American diplomats and citizens hostage, holding them for 444 agonizing days. The Iran hostage crisis severed diplomatic ties and cemented a new era of open hostility between the two nations. In the decades that followed, the conflict evolved. The U.S. supported Iraq in its brutal war against Iran in the 1980s, and tensions frequently flared in the Persian Gulf. By the early 2000s, a new flashpoint emerged: Iran's nuclear program. Tehran insisted its intentions were peaceful, but Washington and its allies feared it was a cover for developing nuclear weapons. Years of sanctions and tense international diplomacy followed, with the threat of military action constantly looming. A breakthrough finally came in 2015 with the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA. In a landmark agreement between Iran and several world powers, including the U.S., Tehran agreed to curb its nuclear activities in exchange for the lifting of crippling economic sanctions. However, the détente was short-lived. In 2018, the United States unilaterally withdrew from the nuclear deal, claiming it was flawed, and reimposed sweeping sanctions as part of a maximum pressure campaign designed to cripple Iran's economy and force it back to the negotiating table. Iran responded by gradually restarting its nuclear activities, raising tensions to a fever pitch. A series of military confrontations in the Persian Gulf, including attacks on oil tankers and the downing of a U.S. drone, brought the two countries to the brink of direct conflict. Today, the standoff continues, a volatile legacy of a relationship defined by intervention, revolution,